Hey guys, Rapid Roo here, back with another Starcraft Broodwar Remastered cast, and today we have a ladder game for you between the blue Zerg, who is Action, and he is playing against a red Terran called Up GD. I do not know who this is, but it is a ladder game from Feb 2023. We are on Polypoid, we have cross spawns, and yeah, man, some ZVT action to look forward to. So some of the initial comments that I've received from my list of players that I have been sharing on the ladder games that I've cast thus far have requested more games from Soma, games from Action, games from Queen. So some people have started to give me their favorites. I did have an Action game in the pipeline, so I thought, all right, well, I've read the comments, so let's get this one going. After this, I'm also going to be doing a hero versus JYJ. So we are moving through the list, and we will try our best to track down more games from everybody's favorite players. There aren't any guarantees. It is difficult to be able to find them, but we have been getting a little bit of success so far. Okay, so looks like a 12 hatch because we've got enough money for a pool and we've not yet thrown it down. So a fairly standard macro open from Action, and it looks like thus far setting up with the placement of the barracks. I'm expecting maybe to try and do a little bit of a boxing or a wall, but we'll have to see where he places the next depot before this Terran looks to expand. Okay, so as expected, down comes the hatch. Here goes our scouting drone. This overlord isn't going to find much down here. Here goes the scouting SUV. Once they cross paths, Terran is going to know where Zerg is, and Zerg's probably going to have a pretty good idea that it's cross spawns as well, especially because his drone here is about to find nothing, and that's going to be, here we go. Hi, how are you? Oh, good. Okay, so you're not there. All right, well, I'm going to go look where you are. So figure it out very quickly. The reactions of these guys obviously very fast. Action only playing at about 500 APM, so obviously he's feeling a bit tired today. But jokes aside, wow, these guys, they do play fast. I was watching a game that I'd cast yesterday evening, and the speed that Rush plays at, you know, even in mid-game, it's like 420, 450 APM. It's insane. It's insane the speed with which these guys play. It really is. Okay, so our Marine is on the low ground. Looks like we're just going straight for a command center on location with one Marine. So scouting that attach first, realizing that he's gone a quick lair. His SUV's right here in the base, getting all the intel he needs to be able to just forge ahead with a very, very quick expand. I imagine not too long after this, he'll probably throw down a bunker and maybe just create a little bit of a wall. So maybe drop the barracks here-ish, or there, just to block. Okay, so he's going to put it here, as I've said. So very difficult for anything to get up here. And then maybe he's going to build a depot or a bunker there. So I think our Terran's feeling pretty safe. But by the same token, our Zerg knows the drill, understands that if he's gone for this relatively macro-ish build, that our Terran is going to take advantage of the opportunities that it affords him, either by being aggressive or by being equally macro-centric, which is what the Terran in this particular case has chosen to do. All right, so our scouting SUV is gone, is a thing of the past, and now we are just progressing to probably throw down a spire. So boop, and there goes the spire. Okay, so it's going to be mutas, something that we see in this matchup a lot. I'm looking forward to seeing Action and his muta micro. By the way, if you stop by the channel on a regular basis, please do hit that like button. It really does help with discovery. And if you're enjoying these new kinds of games that I'm starting to bring to the channel, please do subscribe. I'm hoping to try and bring this to you on a very regular basis. Okay, so the Lings are sort of poking in and out here. This barracks kind of forms a little wall, which means they can't get up the ramp, and therefore he's saving the money on the bunker. And the Marines are kind of tucked in here nice and tight behind the command center. So this is, I think, taking advantage quite cleverly of some of the nuances of Terran, of obviously being able to float buildings, etc. We're on our second gas. We're saving up cash. So the idea now with the two overlords coming in would be to free up enough supply to then snap, make 7 mutas. and then to start moving across the map and to harass. So our eBay from our Terran should probably be en route. We are going up to 4 racks on the high ground. Our eBay is here. Our academy is already in play because we got scanners. So this has been a very nice, crisp and efficient build from our Terran. And I expect now between 5 minutes and 20 seconds and 5 minutes and 45 seconds, we'll start to see the turrets go up. So I did hear a scanner. So obviously with the scanner, you would have probably scanned the main, seen the spire. What is this building? Oh, it's a Hydra den. Okay, so it's going to progress to lurkers relatively quickly here. Pretty much a snap transition. Maybe that's just to try and fake out this Terran a little bit, but based on the placement of the Hydra den, I mean, it's right next to the spire. So if Zerg scans there again, it's going to find that, if Terran scans there again, it's going to find that pretty easily. Okay, so we do see a little bit of a move out, but the mutas are inbound, so I don't think it's anything other than just pushing them away. Hero has taken Action, I beg your pardon, has taken a base down here on the bottom right. I think feeling very comfortable with the map control that his mutas afford him. The barracks being lifted up has actually opened the front door here for a couple of Action links to get in here. Usually just very, very painful, but not too much damage should be able to get done. Although with these mutas coming in as well, I think they're going to be able to pick up some free Marines here. Suddenly the Marines that were supposed to just take care of 2 pesky lings have now become very, very pesky lings. This turret's going to go down. Oh no, he does manage to get the repair, and he does manage to get rid of them. But meanwhile, a couple more mutas here in the mineral line. Probably got about 4, 5, 6 SCVs from that harassment. So that suddenly the worker count is almost even. So very, very valuable Mutalisk harassment from Action here. And like I say, the map control that these mutas are affording him is meaning that he can get himself another hatch up. A couple of Hydras here as well. I think this is going to be a pretty aggro lurker follow-up. The lurker aspect is just finished. So I think he's done with mutas after this. And it's going to be a rush transition into lurkers. I don't know how well prepared our Terran is for this. He did scan again, so he would have seen the Hydra, probably Hydra den if he had scanned the main. So he's going to have an idea that it's a possibility that lurkers could come pretty soon, but the timing here is really, really fast. We can see in the production tab some lurkers are already being morphed. Let's have a look at where. Down here. Okay, so this base, which I'm not sure if our Terran has discovered yet, but it's a very good choice by Action to morph them down there so that there is an opportunity to surprise the Terran. So the Terran is moving out here. It's going to be interesting to see where he moves. If he is going to move bottom right, then obviously he has scanned that base. And it does feel like that's what he's doing, although as I say that, the units are stopping. So let's keep an eye on where these units go. There are only 9 mutas. Okay, and he hasn't made any more, and he hasn't continued to make mutas. So this was a muta start with a very, very quick lurker transition. He obviously definitely did scan this base because here he comes. So Action is going to now try and defend this base with muta lurkers. Where are the lurkers? Oh my god, there they are, under the Overlord. That was so genius. He stacked them all there under the Overlord. He didn't see the 2 stack lurkers because of the Overlord placement. That was so, so clever. So he ran up, stemmed, and lost a whole hunk of Marines there for nothing. Action, you boss. That was so beautifully done. Another very, very slow Hydra and Lurker kind of walking out this way. So I don't think that Terran's going to be able to break that base. So behind this, a few more Lurkers are moving into the natural here, just in case Terran decides to try and push on this position. A Queen's Nest in play, a Hive is in play. Wow, the tech progression and this build from Action is so, so slick. Queen's Nest in place, Evo in place, gonna start with these upgrades. Terran doesn't really know what to do or where to go here. I think he's been a little bit thrown by the fact that he can't really move out onto the map until he has vessels. Let's have a look at his tech progression. So he's got double ports, getting the facility in play on the 2 gases. So it's not going to be long before vessels are out. For our Zerg, mutas have pretty much run their course already, but the lurkers are proving to be really, really valuable. Oh my god, he's moved the lurkers into position. He didn't reposition his bio, so he's lost that entire bio ball. But I think he was stuck because he didn't really know where to move and where the lurkers were. So again, Action is just absolutely smacking this guy. This is seriously impressive play from our Zerg. Okay, so we're just pausing here with our bio, not quite sure what to do. It's going to be interesting to see what exactly he's built the Hive Tech for. A very fast Defiler mount seems to be the answer to this. So it's going to maybe just be Ling Lurker with Dark Swarm and Plague. And I don't know how quickly our Terran is going to be able to get ready for this, but it's going to be a full-on assault from action relatively soon. Still moving around a little bit with the mutas, adding a few Scourge here, I think, to try and do some vessel picks. Science vessels are very, very expensive in terms of gas, so any vessel you can pick off as a Zerg is a massive setback for the Terran. So having a few Scourge with the army does make sense for that reason. So just poised here, listening a little bit to the Terran jam playing in the background. Seeing a Nidus so we can reinforce from top to bottom if necessary. A nice line of lurkers here in the front with the Nidus being connected there. The only thing I would be a little bit curious about in terms of actions plans is when is he going to look to take a third? I think he's lost himself a muter or two there, unfortunately. This has now become quite a lot of bio, supported by the two vessels. I think he's trying to take the vessels out, and he did lose the Scourge there. No connection. We saw the red animation as opposed to the green. So where does Terran move out to? Which base does Terran try and pressure? That's got to be the question here. Here comes the Scourge. So if the vessels run a little bit too far ahead, they could be in danger. I don't know if action's alert to this though, so he's going to... Oh, he does lose the one Scourge for free. Up we go, and here starts the irradiates on the lurkers. So this is the way you break this as Terran. You get up here, you break through, but the Nidus should be a huge difference maker here. We can see immediately, as I say, that 3 more lurkers, 4 more lurkers pop through, and a drone, probably to build a sunk, who knows, and a defiler. So he's going to be able to Dark Swarm right here and make his life very, very difficult. If you're Terran, there's no ways. In fact, he's bold enough to go down the ramp and then under the Dark Swarm, pops down the lurkers. How many of his units is he going to lose? None, because of very quick reactions from our Terran. But unfortunately, these 3 Marines have got it boxed in, and they don't have much of a future. These guys, however, did manage to break out. But I expect what you're going to see now is just continuous leapfrogging. Action now with the confidence that Dark Swarm gives him is throwing down a 4th hatch right here, or a 4th base right here. And he's probably going to set up his lurkers here on the front line. Quite comfortable with the reinforcing strength that these lurkers give him. So let's see what we have in our production tab here. We have another hatch and another hatch. So we are really committing to a huge amount of production power here on our 50 drones. 115 plays 129. The Terran identifying that he's probably not going to have any hope in hell of breaking that high ground position. Moves to another spot, finds himself a free Overlord. Sorry, Mr. Overlord, your time has come and your time is gone. And now we're going to get what I expected, which is basically Ling Lurker Defiler. A very, very popular and very, very strong unit composition against Terran from our Zerg. The vessel count is only up to 3, and we lost 1 there, so a little bit sloppy from our Terran. It is so, so critical to keep your vessels alive. He does only have 2 on the map that I can see. A couple of drop ships here as well, so we're going to have to keep an eye on where those are going. Terran is trying to set up to take a third of his own. That is going to be huge if he can establish that and keep it up. Meanwhile, some Plague being thrown down on this bio ball. The mutas are still alive unless he built some more. I haven't really kept an eye on the production tab. I think these are probably the original mutas he had. The power of Plague, though, very strong. Nice irradiate on the remaining mutas. He is able to stagger a few, but I think he had about 7 and he lost 5 there. So pretty decent trade for Terran, all considered. Ultraless Cavern is in play as well. We don't see any ultras yet, but a very, very quick tech switch is obviously on the cards. Here comes this big drop. So Terran made it very easy for me, dropping straight in the main. So no surprises here. Oh, he loses a dropship to a Scourge. That was really, really painful. He's able to unload somewhat, but throws down the Dark Swarm on top of this fireball really fast. The fire bats, however, don't really care that much. A couple of meters have gotten around here, targeting down the Defiler Mine, which would be a very, very valuable target, as well as these 2 Evo Chambers, because obviously there's double upgrades occurring at the moment. Well, actually, no. Neither of the Evo Chambers is busy with an upgrade at this stage, and but there's no way for Terran to know that, so it makes sense to target them down. Does go around. Maybe he wants to try and take down the hive or the spawning pool or some other valuable target, but I just think the amount of reinforcements here from action is too strong. So he's going to go around here and he is going to take down the little bit of a drop there. And the question is, there's one little marine here in this top right corner of the screen firing at the spawning pool. If he repositions one lurker there, that should be the end of him. And nope, he sidesteps it. This marine is courageous to say the least. I'm not going to watch this. I'm pretty sure that action's going to tidy this up. What I want to see is what's going to happen down here if he takes on this base, because he's been irradiating lurkers under the Dark Swarm. Scans again, irradiates again. He's taking a lot of pressure here. His action. This Terran is a really, really strong player. He's no clown, ladies and gentlemen. He's up to 4 bases already. And in my opinion now, because of that macro profile, is in a very, very strong position to win this game. He's just basically got to break one of these two positions, either the natural here or this natural position here, and I think our Zerg is going to be in a world of pain. All right, so we're moving around here. Here's our Bible. It's just SK Terran. It's become so popular in the meta, and it's so effective. And we have some Sunks potentially coming up. Yep. And we have a Spore as well to try and knock down any incoming science vessels. The Defilers here are certainly earning their money. It's still anybody's game at this stage while the base count is where it is. But one more base for the Zerg, or one more base for the Terran, or one big exchange where a base drops for either player. And I think that's where this game swings. A nice plague on the science vessels now. So Scourge or Immuters are just going to pick these off with pretty much one shots. There you go. Beautiful example. The Spore just hits one with a tiny little bit of sloppy control. So the power of plague is certainly playing a big part in the game. The Ultras have arrived. Doesn't look like they have their speed upgrade as of yet. Looks like somebody's put some shackles on their feet. So when that upgrade kicks in, the shackles will break. Action now pressuring this fourth base, understanding, like I said earlier, that if Terran loses one of these bases, it really does swing the game in his favor. So he has taken on this bunker. There are obviously some units inside doing a full repair. It's only 2 unupgraded Ultras. Let's have a look at what they have. Okay, so they do have the carapace, but they don't have the attack upgrade as of yet. And that was pretty nicely dealt with from our Terran. Action does decide to pull away and consolidate his units. More links flooding in here. There's just units everywhere. Very, very calmly just sort of holding this position, blocking Action from expanding any further without taking any more fights. A lot of lings moving around the map. Here's some lings here pressuring this base, which is relatively unprotected. Although now there's a whole heap of bio that have come in and very, very quickly tidied it up. So a nice, neat SCV pull, followed by a repositioning of units. And again, our Terran is moving across. 166 though plays 158. The power of the macro from Zerg is certainly playing a part here. He's got a hatch here. He's got 4 hatches here. He's got a hatch here, and he's got 1 hatch here, so, and 3 here. So he's got plenty. I think if I add that all up, it's about 10. 10 hatch Zerg. Very, very hard to stop if you're Terran, no matter how many barracks you have in play. So the Lurkers have come out here, and the Ultras, they're going to pick off this little bio ball. This is quite a big fight here, though, and once again, Terran is under a lot of pressure trying to protect his bases. The Ultralings are going in quite nicely, although there's plenty of bio here to theoretically reinforce. The Ultras again have come to pressure this base, so the Terran is being pulled from pillar to post. Action is really putting him under pressure to make sure he can protect all of his expansions. Another huge wave of blue is going to come across the map. Another one converging from this side. So from 2 angles, we should see an approach here. We're going to zoom out to see. So from the one side, it's coming in. But he does seem to pull away. Doesn't want to take this fight as of yet. Most of Terran's army is, in fact, here. So it looks like Terran's deciding that they want to take this on. But here we go. The big convergence, the big fight. Basically, Ling Ultra versus Bio Vessel with some Irradiate. The Defiler's here, but not really throwing up any Dark Swarms. The goal actually is to throw down the Plague. It's too much pressure. I think he's realizing he's going to lose this base. And Action just got too strong. Too many hatches. Too much macro power. Our Terran could not keep up with it. A very, very convincing performance. But also 2 incredibly well-matched players. I hope you enjoyed this game. There's many more brilliant ladder games to look forward to on this channel. I'm Rabbit Roo, Variety Broodwar caster. Subscribe for more. Until next time, ciao for now.